Thank you for joining another First Presbyterian Church virtual service. Before we begin, as we all know, Hurricane Laura slammed into the Gulf, and there is a wake of destruction. If you would like to help, there are ways you can do that. Please visit the PDA website for the Presbyterian Church. Follow this link and figure out a way your gifts can help those in need. This is the last Sunday of August. September, just around the corner. You know what that means. If you celebrated a birthday in August, happy birthday. And so now, let's sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday to you. Just to let you know, you're going to come along with us on another drive. But before we do that, let's begin with our call to worship. Oh, give thanks to the Lord for the glorious things he does. Proclaim them to the nations. Glory in the Lord, O worshippers of God, rejoice. Thanks for joining us on another nice country road drive. But rest easy, I'm not the one driving today. We're going to cover some themes that I think are very important, particularly today. Themes that Paul talks about in his letter to the Romans, and a theme that jumps out in our reading of the Gospel of Matthew. Now, Paul tells us, rejoice in hope, be patient in suffering, persevere in prayer, live together in harmony. As I said earlier, I think right now, those words should scream at us. It's what we need to be doing. You know, all of us suffer in ways that many times we can't control. But we have a choice in the way we think, what license we have to do about it. What does that mean? What am I talking about? You know, philosopher John Locke believed that self-governance was a true form of freedom. Self-governance. Now, how do you explain self-governance? And what does that have to do with living together in harmony? Or being patient in suffering, rejoicing in hope, or persevering in prayer? Well, let me try to describe it with a scenario. All of us, at some point in our lives, have gone grocery shopping. You've either gone to HEB or, I don't know, Piggly Wiggly, Anybody ever remember collecting the S&H green stamps? I do. My tongue remembers licking all those stamps as I put them in the little book. Anyway, we've all gone grocery shopping. And what do you do when you grocery shop, particularly for more items than you can carry in your arms? Well, you get a grocery cart. And when you're done and you go back to your parked car in the parking lot, you take your grocery cart and you unload it. And then, what do you do with that grocery cart? Now, before you answer, what you do with that grocery cart can reveal who you are morally and who you are ethically. And here's why. There is no rule, there's no law for what to do with that grocery cart. You're not obligated to do anything with it. You can leave it, you can push it and wonder where it rolls away, or you can return it. Whatever you do, there is no punishment or there's no reward. It is a classic example of placing you in a position to self-govern. You get to choose what to do with that cart. If you return it in a stall, or if you take it all the way back to the store and place it with the other carts, then you exhibit good morals and good ethics. You exhibit living in harmony with everybody. Paul wants the believers to live in harmony. He knows that if they continue to argue, it will result in no good for them, for the church, or even for their responsibility to God in spreading good news. I mean, let's be honest. You can't tell people, I just want to spread good news, if the people know you're not even getting along with others spreading good news. Paul knows this. And so he tells them in very beautiful words, but painfully truthful words. You're going to suffer. Have patience. Pray and rejoice in hope. You know, in those things you can't see. Waiting for a promise that's yet to come. It's truth, but he offers it in love. Self-governance. How do you self-govern? And when times get tough, how do you really act? Well, in our gospel reading, times got tough for the disciples because Jesus tells them, I'm going to Jerusalem, I'm going to be tortured, and I'm going to die. And in that moment of crisis, Peter says, no, you are not. We cannot allow this to happen. And in a moment of painful truth, Jesus tells Peter, get behind me, Satan. He reminds the disciples and us not to set our mind on earthly things, but rather to try and set our minds on divine things. That's a tough thing to do, because what does that mean? Well, if we go back to Paul, yet again. How we self-govern and how we act, how we display who we are in our hearts, shows others who we truly are. And it's a tough thing. I know right now we're reading reports about the devastating effects of the hurricane. And we need to pray for and offer help in any way that we can to those who are suffering through that. They're going to have to be patient in that suffering. The recovery efforts will take a long time. And if anything, the areas that were hit are still in essence recovering from the last one. And that's tough. But I've told you multiple times, Christianity doesn't make life easy. It simply offers tools to handle what life offers. Times are tough for us in other ways as well. I mean, here we are virtually meeting. But how we respond in this crisis will also reveal our character. We have to dig deep. Look into our hearts, ask God for guidance, and then figure out how to live in harmony. Sure, we can be upset about what has happened. Sure, we can be frustrated with the way things currently are. And yes, we can be scared, because it is a scary thing not knowing what happens next. But as always, Scripture gives us what we need. Tools to face life. Rejoice in hope. Be patient in suffering. And persevere in prayer. Certainly, none of us want to ever hear, "Get behind me, Satan." Let's come together. Let's grow together. We can be together like this for now and have hope for how much better it will be when we are together. Peace. As we contemplate our role here, and as we think about and try to live out the information that our readings today impart, let's realize our brokenness. Let's confess. Holy God, your grace startles us. Not only is it more than we deserve, it is more than we can imagine. Again and again, you reach out to us, offering love without boundary and mercy without exception. God of wisdom, we do not see as you see. We look at others and make judgments. We look on the outward appearance, but you look into the heart. Loving God, forgive our shallowness, open our eyes to see as you see. Open our hearts to love as you love. Help us to see each one as heart of your heart. Hear now our silent prayers. Friends, the idea of living in harmony makes for a great song. It's hard to do. We have to truly govern ourselves in a way that helps us be better than we even know we are. It's a tough thing to see yourself in a way that truly shows you what needs work on. But we have to rejoice in hope, and we have to be patient in suffering. We can persevere in prayer. Each of us has a role to play. We can do it in a way that promotes harmony. Yes, of course we'll stumble, but we have to be accountable. When we self-govern, we're relying on our innate goodness to triumph. Let's win together. Peace be with you.